In the late 70s, I was the number one salesman for a photography company by the name of Polaroid, and I was invited to come to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and have dinner with the founder of Polaroid, Dr. Edwin Land. And I can remember sitting at the table. He was on my right, and I asked him, Dr. Land, what is the future of photography? And he said to me that someday in the future that students will go into classrooms and they will reach into their coat pocket and take out a device, and they will photograph what the professor is putting on the blackboard, and then they would take this device back to their room, plug it into another device, and it would be there for them to see and to analyze. And at that time, I did not know what he was talking about, and he shared with me that a young man had come and talked to him about this device, and just within the last the preceding weeks, he had talked to Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs had explained to him what his company, a little company called Apple Computers, was developing, and Dr. Land didn't tie into it. I also remember back in about that same time, I read an article about a guy by the name of Bill Gates who went to the offices of IBM and explained to him that he was creating an operating system for home computers that in the very near future, that every home would have a computer and it would need an operating system. And he had developed that operating system. And the people at IBM said, no, that isn't going to happen. Computers are mainframe computers. In order to process any amount of information, they're going to have to fill a 20 by 40 room. And that's the future of computing. I believe we're at that same point right now. And what I'm looking for is the next Steve Jobs and the next Bill Gates. And I'll also include Steve Wozniak and Paul Allen. This is where we're at. And if you will read this book and several others, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I'll go into it in this video and give you a look. And then I'll also share with you some of the names that they shared with me as to who's going to be the next Microsoft, who's going to be the next Apple, and what is the area that they're going to pursue. We'll talk about that right after I tell you, this ain't no financial advice. This is financial education.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Before I get too deep into this, I want you to do something for yourself. I want you to like this video, and then I want you to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to use my time in the future to help you find those stocks that are going to take us into the next generation, the generation that is going to be focused on artificial intelligence, general intelligence, machine learning, and then synthetic biology. I know that's a word that you don't know real well, but and DNA and CRISPR and things of this nature, but you need to get yourself educated on it. And I'm going to recommend the first thing you do is read Amy Webb's latest book. I first became aware of Amy Webb when I read her book, The Big Nine, and she first started talking about artificial intelligence, and that was in 2019. This is about synthetic biology, taking the knowledge, what we've learned about how our body works, and applying it to the future. And that, I know that sounds strange, but I need you to go to get this book, and I'd encourage you to go to my description and find the link to Audible. And if you're not a part of Audible, if you're not subscribed to it yet, they'll give you your first book free. And I want you to go to this book, and I want you to go to page 100 and read the next 2 pages. And in those 2 pages, they're going to tell you about how they're going to take our DNA and synthesize it, that is, make an artificial element of it, and put it on a computer chip and increase the storage power on a computer chip by 1 million fold. It's actually going to say, okay, shut down those data farms that you have, because we can take all the data you've gathered over the last 40 years and put it into two 1-gallon milk jugs. I know. page 100 to 200. This is then going to take you, and it's going to give you the name of a company that's called Twitch. And here's a look at their webpage. I'm not going to get deep into it because I think I want you to do your own due diligence. I want you to read this book. I want you to read their website. And I want you to become the expert in your coffee clutch about what is synthetic biology and where is it taking us. Then I want you to read on, and you're going to come across a company by the name of Grinko. Grinko. Its ticker symbol is DNA. Very easy to remember. This is a company that is in the business of creating spare parts. That they are basically saying if we can basically break down any organ in our body by sequencing its DNA, we can break down that tissue and we can regrow it. They're doing this with pig hearts as we speak. They've done it with noses. They've done it with ears. They basically take the breakdown of the DNA and the protein, and they put it in an environment where they can reproduce it. I did a video yesterday where I explained to you that I'm going to do this with Kobe steak, and I'm going to put a factory to produce Kobe steak next to every Whole Foods in the United States, and then I'm going to sell my Kobe steaks to Whole Foods, and I'm going to sell the process to Amazon, who owns Whole Foods. This is where this world is going, and for those of us who are astute enough to look for the next Bill Gates, to look for the next Steve Allen and Steve Jobs, if we will look for them by reading, and again, this book is a year old, okay, and I know. And I've fallen into this. I got out and told you about the Code Breaker 18 months ago, and about CRISPR, and about Editus, and about Jennifer Doudna. And again, it will happen. I was just ahead of it. I came to the dance too early. I didn't wait for the pretty girls to show up and then ask them to dance. They are coming. And that's why I'm here to say, I'll give you the clue. I'll point you in the direction, and then you do your work, and then you share your work with me, and together we can find the next Apple, and we can find the next Microsoft. And why is that important? Well, let me show you this chart. This is the growth of Apple and Amazon and Google and NVIDIA. If you get them early on, they're going to give you an average of 35% return on your money over the next 20 years. And what I'm saying, and I've said in prior videos, don't ignore Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. They're the people that will probably come and buy Twitch, which is actually supported by our Twist. It's actually Microsoft has already given them $10 billion for their work, and these are the people who have a vested interest in keeping their companies at top of mind and at top of talent in these new areas. And take right now and write on the back of your hand, synthetic biology. And start using those words in front of your friends, and they're going to glass over and say, what the hell are you talking about? It's going to be the same as in 1989 when I used the words digital revolution. What's that got to do with, Kerry? Math? What's that got? What are you talking about? That Dr. Land said that in the future, someone will take a device out of their pocket, take a picture, hook it up to a machine in their room. I didn't know what I was talking about back then, but I do today. Why? Because I read. I read constantly, and I want you to get into that habit. I want you to sign up for Audible. There's a link in the description, and commit yourself to listening to a book that is going to educate you and give you an advantage in the investment world every month. They're going to charge you $16, $17 a month, and you're going to say, damn, what am I going to read this month? Well, you're going to come to my YouTube channel, and I'll tell you what I'm reading, and I'll share my knowledge with you. That's what this channel's all about. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what to read and what to study and how to become an expert. I mean, is it not evident that the people who succeed in this world are the people who know something that no one else knows? How did they do that? They educated themselves. They committed to learning. That's what this channel's about. That's why right now I want you to like it, and I want you to subscribe to it, and I want you to help me to take this to 1 million viewers, 1 million subscribers, because if you will do that, I will achieve my goal, and that is to help this world make better financial decisions, learn how to keep more of what they make, and to build family wealth. There is no reason in this world why, use your last name, can't be the next Rockefellers. There is no reason other than your unwillingness to educate yourself. And then make good investment decisions. Learn how to keep more of what you make by putting them in a Roth IRA rather than a conventional IRA, and then investing in those stocks that are going to give you an average rate of return of 35% over the next 20 years. Again, look at this chart. It's history. You must learn from it. Okay. That's what I'm thinking about this day. Going to the Indy race. I support the race for cure for cancer for the local children's hospital, and I bought a table at their banquet, and we're going to the race. My cousin, my son, my grandson are coming over. We're going to have a wonderful weekend. So you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.